in a Scottish loch. Isn't that fantastic? Now, if you were watching Spring Watch last year, you'll know that one of the stars of the show was a tree slug. Chris Packer loved it. He's been rubbing his legs incessantly. He's gone through 24 pairs of trousers. Now, the good news is we have another climbing mollusk for you. This time it's tucked away along the banks of the River Thames, so we sent Lucy Cook down to have a look.
Now, it's not every day that I go foraging for treasure on the banks of the River Thames, or mudlarking, as I believe it was known in the 18th century. But today, I am looking for natural gems. These are Balia biplicata, also known as the two-lipped door snail or the Thames snail, and believe it or not, this is one of our rarest species of snail. Measuring in at a tiny 2 centimetres, its shell is extremely elongated and highly spiralled with numerous wonderful whorls. And most unusually for gastropods, it's left-handed. In other words, its shell coils to the left, not the right. Today it survives in only a handful of London locations. This boatyard is one of them, so they need all the help they can get. And that's just what amateur ecologist Amelia Stodel has been doing since she first stumbled across one in her bankside garden. So Amelia, how did you meet your first snail?
Well, I was working in the gardens here, and I came across a tiny little snail, actually really a plant person, and snails and slugs are the bane of any gardener. But it took me a long time to actually discover that they were tree snails, and that they don't actually eat or damage our gardens. They feed entirely on lichen and algae.
Amelia's mission is to rescue these tiny mollusks, but time is running out. This precious habitat will be cleared for redevelopment and will soon be gone, so there's no being sluggish about it as I help Amelia track some down. What I love about these little micro worlds is they look like nothing, there's just a load of dirt, but then when you get in there, there's so many different species, aren't there? Do you know what makes me feel like a kid again? This is exactly the kind of thing that I used to do when I was little.
We're likely to see lots of other specimens of snails, like
Oh, the gardener's favourite, that one.
Yeah, they're right.
There's 99 species in the UK.
Wow, of land snails?
Yeah, how many of them would you think you found?
Any idea? Well, I guess I would just at a wild guess at least a dozen different species here. Okay. Look, here's a little strawberry snail.
God, I'm not sure my eyesight is up to this job. You need great eyesight to be a Thames tulip snail spotter. Although Amelia found her first snail in her garden, their favourite hiding place isn't in herbaceous borders or trees, it's in leaf litter.
These little snails are active dusk to dawn. That's when they go up the trees and feed on the lichen, and then in the daytime, they hide in the leaf litter.
I'm thinking that this is an awfully long commute for a snail to live in the leaf litter and then to be dining in the trees, isn't it?
They probably find a lot to forage from fallen twigs and things like that. And of course the base of the trees are always covered in lichen. Okay, I found 2 snails.
So that is pretty exciting. I managed to find one of Britain's rarest snails.
Well, I'm finding plenty here, Lucy.
Are you?
Yep.
It's amazing to me that this sort of forgotten piece of land is the last stronghold of this snail, potentially in London and in the UK. It just goes to show, doesn't it, really, how important it is to save brownfield sites like this from development.
Oh, absolutely, because every snail we're picking up is one that's doomed, unless we move it.
Oh, hello! I just found my first one. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'd say that's a little teenager. What do you think?
It looks like it. He doesn't seem to have the rim around him yet.
This might only be a youngster, but given the right conditions, these little snails can live up to 7 years. But over the decades, habitat loss has decimated the snails' numbers, leaving populations small, fragmented and localised. So passionate to protect her precious snails, Amelia's hatched a plan, a houseboat breeding programme and a dedication to find them a safe new home.
Did you just emerge from your shower room?
From my shower room.
Yeah, I've got to ask you, do you shower with them?
I moved them out.
And how many of these micro-habitats have you got?
Well, at the moment, I've got 4, and roughly I've got about between 12 and 15 in each bowl.
Wonderful. And are they breeding in here?
Well, I think they've already started, and I'm hopeful that it's spring now and that we will have some live birds.
So essentially you're creating a little mini ark for the Thames snail.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it.
And why is it important that you're doing this?
It's so that we've got a genetic pool that we can continue to breed and hopefully repopulate somewhere else. I would love my grandchildren to be able, as adults, to walk down the Thames and come across the Thames tulip snail.
Oh, and if
It
they
breaks my
can...
heart to think of a world depleted by the time they get to adulthood. Saving the planet is not that hard. You just got to start in your own backyard. And anyone can do it.
Absolutely, anyone can.
Yeah.
Don't you love that saying? That is going to become the saying of the series. Saving the planet is not that hard. You've only got to start in your own backyard. I think we should have T-shirts with that on it.
Not t-shirts.
Yeah, maybe hoodies.
Fleeces,
Yeah,
puffer
it's a bit
jackets.
cold, isn't it? But look, if you didn't get a sense of just how small the Thames snail is, I've got some shells on my hand. I mean, look at them. They are absolutely tiny, really difficult to find. And in fact, have a look at this, because this really demonstrates the size difference of a garden snail. I think you all know roughly how big a garden snail is. And look, it is going right over the Thames snail, leaving a horrible load of slime all over it. We all know how that feels, don't we? You know, caravan going across here. It's not a nice feeling.
It hasn't happened to me recently, if I'll be quite honest with you. Now, I don't need to tell you this because you're on board, but everything counts. You might have been thinking, or some of you, what on earth's that little snail all about? Well, it's part of the greater ecosystem. It's the interconnectivity of all of these things working together that makes that ecosystem sustainable and stable and completely beautiful. We need absolutely everything there that we can have. And in the UK, there are 8 species of these door snails. We've got another one here. You've seen the 2-lipped. This one is the 2-toothed. Those are the smaller conical ones there. There's a couple of strawberry snails in amongst them as well. But you might be wondering, why are they called door snails? Well, I've got an exquisitely crafted model here which will demonstrate this. Imagine that this is the shell of the snail and my finger is the soft body part of it. So it's got the door closed, the clausilium as it's called. And then when it wants to forage, it pushes its body out through there like that. And the little door flips up and the soft body of the snail comes out like that, and then it goes onto Michaela's arm and it grazes on some algae because she's quite slow moving these days. Oh, but then she startles it like a predator and it rapidly withdraws its body back into its snail and closes its little clausilium again. And this will keep out any insect predators or parasites, and maybe sometimes it will seal it up and that will stop it from dehydrating as well. So that's why it's called a door snail. And door snails are just every bit as important as every other organism out there.
I love that. I quite like that, actually. Every time that you frighten me, which you often do, you know, I could just bring my little door up and go, no, go away, go away. And
You're
then
gonna
when
need
I
more
wanted
protection.
to, I could come out again.
More protection than that from all the Clash fans, honestly.
That is very true. I like them, I promise you, I do like the Clash. Anyway, Gillian, you know she's in Cornwall and she's in the Lost Gardens of Heligan. That's a bit of a daft name, really, isn't it?
I have a problem with it. Right?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, because they're not lost.
They're not lost.